What's good in the hood? Welcome back to Clown Questions, the show where there are no dumb questions. I'm your host, Matt K. Maurer, and today I'm asking the question, are the Jets back? I'll also be having on a good friend of mine, Dom Sirianni. He'll be joining us on the program today. So great interview with him. Get ready for that. And who's down to clown?
That's a clown question, bro.
So are the Jets back? Feels like kind of a weird question to ask after they lost to the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football and fell to a 2-4 record. 2-4. That's season's over, right? There's no coming back from that. But I think they're back. And of course, I'm saying this because Devontae Adams was traded to the New York Jets today. The trade was Adams in exchange for a conditional third round pick that could become a second round pick. It only becomes a second round pick if he is first or second team All Pro, or if he's on the active roster for an AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl game. So sounds like it'll probably be a third. I mean, I don't. It's pretty unlikely that any of that stuff happens. I think they're more likely to make the AFC Championship than Tay is to become second team All Pro. Of course, he is a former All Pro, multi-time All-Pro if I'm correct there. But after missing a couple games and not great statistics probably with the Raiders, I feel like it's pretty unlikely he becomes second team All-Pro. So he's got to be in the AFC Championship for the Raiders to get a second round pick. But great trade for the Jets. I don't know how I feel about it for the Raiders. Third round pick, it's really not a lot. But at the same time, they had to get rid of him. Devontae was unhappy. He was basically not playing. Speaking of playing, he is actually expected to make his debut for the Jets today's Sunday night football game versus the Steelers. This is after a 3-week absence for a quote unquote, with air quotes, hamstring injury. I don't know if any of us are buying that might not have been the reason they left him out. I actually don't think the hamstring injury was keeping him out. I think he was kind of protesting how terrible the Raiders are by telling him, I'm not going to play. Antonio Pierce said, fine, we'll make a business decision. We're not going to let you play, and we're going to trade you. And yeah, the Jets are 2-4, but with Devontae Adams, their offense is stacked. They have Garrett Wilson. They have Devontae Adams. Alan Lazard caught a Hail Mary on Monday Night Football. He's one of Rodgers' favorite targets dating back to Green Bay. Obviously, they got Brees Hall and our boy, Wisconsin Badger, Braylon Allen. The offense on paper is so good, and their defense has been solid. So I think they're back, and I people are might be calling me crazy for this, but I say they're making the playoffs this year. One of my friends was asking me what's the Bills, motivation for this year? Are they even win now mode? They have to be in win now mode because Rodgers could retire after this year. So I think I'll say it. I think Rodgers and the Jets are going to run the table. They still could win the division. When you think about it, if they had won that Monday Night Football game versus the Bills, they'd be tied right now. Now, granted, they are 2 games back, but they'll get to play the Bills again, come within a game of them. Now, yeah, like I said, I don't know if they're winning the division, but give me the Jets making the playoffs. I'm sticking with that take. I had it preseason, and this Devontae Adams trade, I'm all the way back in. I had given up on them, 2-4, but with Devontae, he's the answer. He's going to solve all of their problems. Speaking of a team who didn't have a ton of problems, maybe they did in the wide receiver department. Did the Bills copy the Jets? So mere hours after Devontae Adams gets traded to the Jets, Amari Cooper gets traded to the Bills. The Browns traded Amari Cooper and a 6th round pick for a 3rd round pick and a 7th round pick. So essentially, it was a pretty similar deal, a pick swap and then a 3rd round pick. So basically, nearly the same price as Devontae Adams here. so interesting that the Bills and Jets both trade for a wide receiver a day after playing in a close game. The Bills beat the Jets by 3 Monday night, and Jets said, I mean, they've wanted Adams for a while, finally got him, and seconds later it felt like Amari Cooper gets traded to the Bills. I honestly do think they did. I think the answer to did the Bills copy the Jets? I think the answer to that question is yes, they did. They saw Adams get there and they said, you know what? We're a little shaky at wide receiver. We don't have an established one between Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, and Keon Coleman. Let's get a veteran receiver, Amari Cooper. They went out and got him, so he's bound to be Josh Allen's new favorite target out there in Buffalo. Um, but yeah, this is interesting. This has been actually the third time Amari Cooper has been traded. The Bills have cut Marquez Valdez Scantling, the former Packer, in order to make room for Cooper on the roster. Yeah, they copied the Jets, and it's gonna work. They probably are gonna win this division, but I think the Jets make a late push at them. We'll obviously see though. I think Bills and Jets are both making the playoffs. They both got their new shiny wide receiver. That solves all skill position players solve all problems. Don't worry, you don't need to have a good offensive line. Your D line doesn't matter if you can get a name brand player who would be a top couple round pick in fantasy football, your problems will be solved. Did I mention there was another trade? I don't know if I did, but Cam Akers got traded to the Vikings. This is pretty funny because the Vikings also traded for him last year. Sounds like you should have just held on to him, give him a little veteran minimum contract there. But yeah, I don't know. I just found that funny. It's like you clearly like the guy if you traded for him twice, but just back to back years trading for the same guy is kind of ridiculous. Let's keep it rolling and keep talking some football. Let's talk some Pittsburgh Steelers football. And the question for the Steelers is Russ ready? I always introduce a question with is, and then the question starts with is. So I ended up saying is. I've done that so many times. I don't know how to stop it. I don't have good grammar, but Russell Wilson is starting this week. The Steelers just announced. I don't think he's ready personally. I think he needs maybe one more week as an emergency quarterback, and then he'll be ready. He just needs that one more week to kind of feel it out, feel how the pads feel standing on the sideline, and feel how it feels to warm up in a jersey, and feel how it feels to maybe need to go into the game if your starting quarterback's backup gets hurt and neither of them are able to return. So I think you just get Russ in there for one more week at emergency quarterback. Let him get a feel for the sideline, and then he'll be ready to come onto the field. But yeah, it'll be very, very interesting. We got the Steelers versus the Jets Sunday night football with the two new guys. Russell Wilson on the Steelers, his first start as a Steeler, and Devonta Adams' first start as a Jet. So that game will undoubtedly be cinema, and we'll find out if Russ is ready then. For now, let's talk some baseball. And I hate to ask it because this is the team that bounced my team, the Brewers. But I'll ask the question: are the Mets a team of destiny? I think so. Unfortunately, I do think so. They are currently, I believe, tied 1-1. Yes, 1-1 in their series against the Dodgers. I should mention I'm doing this podcast before slash and during the Yankees Guardians game 2, so won't be able to comment on that game unless maybe during the interview I might peer over to the side and drop in some commentary. I don't like talking about the Yankees because I hate them and I can't say anything nice about them. And I don't want to hate on them too much because they're my auntie's favorite team. But man, I wish nothing but misery for for the New York Yankees ball club. I hate them because I ain't them. I hate them because they got 28 rings. But we're not talking about the Yankees. We're talking about the Mets. Francisco Lindor hits that huge grand slam in Game 4 as the Mets advance past the Phillies to the ALCS. So, like I said, we got Yankees, Guardians, and Dodgers versus Mets. Everybody and their mother seems to be rooting for a Subway Series, and I'm rooting against it solely because I'm rooting against the Yankees. But I have to admit, it would be pretty damn cool to see a Subway Series. I've never seen one in real life. At least I don't think. I can't recall any of them. Um, but yeah, that's my baseball spiel. I was going to talk about the benches clearing in Yankees Royals Game 4, but evidently there was no fighting. There was no one, getting hit by a pitch or any of that. It was more so just the benches clearing and then them having a heated discussion. So nothing even close to a brawl. But yeah, Mets looking like a team of destiny. I'm rooting for the Guardians. I think I'm rooting for the Dodgers too. But like I said, it does seem like we are headed for a collision course for a Subway Series. No pun intended there. Quick note after this next question: who retired? Danny Green and Rafael Nadal have retired. Now, I don't have anything to say about tennis, but I know Rafael Nadal is one of the greatest of all time. He's probably third greatest. What first would be Novak Djokovic. Second would be Roger Federer. Third would be Rafael Nadal. No, actually, you got to put Serena Williams above him. So the fourth greatest tennis player ever retires. So happy trails to Rafael and his Ninja Turtles headband that he loves to wear during his matches and games. Whatever the difference between a match and a game is in tennis, I forget. I did play for 1 year. I was pretty bad. But of course, Danny Green also retired, as I mentioned. San Antonio Spurs legend, Toronto Raptors legend. This man had three ring. No, he also a Lakers legend. Danny Green retires with 4 championships, a crucial role player to those San Antonio Spurs teams, to that Raptors team, and to that Lakers team. One of the best 3-point shooters ever. I don't know why this is the memory that comes to mind, but uh, an OT of Game 6 of like the 2013 Finals, Heat Spurs. Obviously, Ray Allen hits that shot in the corner. Um, but then in overtime, Danny Green went up for the game-winning shot and got blocked by Chris Bosh. So I don't know why I brought that up, but that's one of my Danny Green memories. But yeah, happy travels to Danny Green and Rafael Nadal. Not much else to say there, and not much else to say here as I continue to learn more about women's basketball. Who's winning it all is my question. Currently, the WNBA finals are tied at 1 game apiece. Of course, we have the Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty. These next 2 games are in Minnesota, and a potential game 5 would be in New York. So they do the 2-2-1 format. It's, of course, a 5-game series. And I don't care what I said last week, but I'm changing my pick. Last week, I picked the Liberty to win it all. I'm changing it uh, after 2 games. Give me the Lynx to win it. After seeing Courtney Williams with a clutch 4-point play at the end of game 1, I had seen enough. Give me the Lynx to win it. Not to mention they have home court now, and potentially if they win these next 2 games, they could close it out in Minnesota before even going back to New York. So yeah, that's what it is. Give me Lynx in 4. But yeah, this is definitely cheating. I made my pick. Usually I don't go back on them, but I don't care. I'm Lynx in 4. That's all I got to say about that. And we'll see what Jerry Jones has to say about this. Our first segment of the day, which of course is First Your Interruption. Today we will be listening in on Jerry Jones's radio interview with 105.3 The Fan. Um, Evidently Jerry's pissed. I mean, I'd be pretty pissed if my team had lost 47-9. But I'll let you hear it from the man himself. Here's Jerry Jones kind of flipping out on a radio host on 105.3 The Fan. First interruption with Jerry Jones. Here it is.
So again, this was just moments ago. Jerry Jones on 105.3 in Dallas, when asked about not making more moves in the offseason. Let's hear it.
This is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why.
why.
A job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Jerry,
okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
Boy, that sounded way worse than it was when I read it, right? I mean,
Sorry, Jerry, that is hilarious. Your job isn't to go over the reasons I did this and that. Kind of is. I don't know. This isn't my job yet as a podcaster. I'd like it to one day be my job, but isn't that kind of the job of sports media, is to like talk about the moves of an owner, GM? Isn't that kind of their job? He said, if you really are the guy to do this, you're just sitting up there with your microphone. If you're really that guy, you should be coming to our meetings and helping us out with this stuff. But Jerry, if it's not the job of a radio host to criticize the lack of free agency moves in the offseason by their GM, if it's not their job, whose job is it? It's the football consultant's job. Like, is he like, I guess it would be that guy's job. That literally is probably whose job it is. And that guy's not doing a very good job because, as I've talked about many times on this podcast, the Cowboys failed to make any major moves in free agency. They brought back old Zeke Elliott, old Dalvin Cook, and they signed one defensive guy from the Vikings. I forget his name. They basically made one signing that was impactful. So Jerry's getting pissed. And I think Jerry might be a little pissed because he's realizing that it was a little bit on him. There was a lack of movement, of acquisitions in the offseason, and he's pissed. So he's just telling this guy, like, I can go on someone else's radio show if you're not going to be nice to me. But I don't know what Jerry expected. You guys lost 47-9. They're not going to be asking you nice questions. They're going to be asking you, hey, what can we do? Where do we move forward? It looks like the season's over. What should we do? And Jerry lost it. But love it. I mean, that's the criticism you're going to get when you're the owner / president / GM that Jerry Jones is. But yeah, that's all I have to say to that. I would like to challenge Jerry Jones as saying that's not your job. I think it is my job. Well, hope if I ever got paid to do this, it would be my job to criticize your off-season moves here. But enough on first interruption. Let's get to our interview with my good friend Dom Sirianni. Thanks again, bro, for pulling up to the podcast. It was good. It was good having you on. You got to come back on sometime. So here he is, Dom Sirianni. All right, now pulling up to the pod is a good friend of mine, first-time guest, better known as Don. It is the Dom Sirianni. Thanks for joining me on the show, Dom.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt. Excited, first time on the pod here.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. First time on the pod. But yeah, what's going on with you, man? You just moved to Milwaukee, right? How you living over there?
Good. Been here for about a month now. Feeling like I'm finally settled in, so that's good. Got a great place, great spot. I love it down here.
Yeah, dude. I was on FaceTime with you the other night. You were showing me the crib. You're living in. I know you got a roommate, but you're living in a palace. That place is nice.
It is. It's a nice spot.
Yeah, you got a view of the Pfizer and everything, right?
Yeah, I'm pumped for Buck season to start up here soon. Head to some games.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any Bucks stuff on the docket for today. Mostly just football. Maybe I'll ask you for a World Series pick. You can jump in with some NBA if you want though, but I
No,
wanted
it's
to
football.
s-
It's football and baseball. It's football and playoff baseball season right now, man.
That's true. It is. All right, well let's start with the NFL. Monday Night Football, Bills Jets was a great game, aside from all the ridiculous penalties.
Hmm.
But the Jets lose to the Bills. Bills are 4-2 now, and the Jets are 2-4. So your answer to this question probably changes after the news today, but my question was gonna be, is the Jets season over?
See, I was watching the game last night, and the whole time I'm thinking, man, they need another receiver out there. They need someone else. And the whole time I'm thinking, who could that be?
Yeah, I wonder.
And
Amari
I think
Cooper?
maybe Amari Cooper. But I think they found some guy named Devonte Adams.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of him before, but it sounds like he's a good player. No,
I've heard that.
I think even my answer last night would have been no, the Jets season is not dead, and that definitely today stays the same after the big news. Obviously, I'm very excited to see Devonte and Aaron back out there on the field together.
Yeah,
Something we haven't seen since a very long time, and I
feels
think
like
that
forever ago.
it
Yeah.
feels like a lot has happened since then. We'll say
But so
that.
even before the Devontae trade though, you still thought the Jets were alive. This Adams trade just kind of cements
Yeah.
that for you.
Yes.
They're not done.
No. Yeah. I've seen it too many times. You're never done with Aaron Rodgers until you're done.
He's gonna run the table.
You might.
But yeah, I like it. I like it. I don't think their season's over yet. I'm very high on them, and I don't know. I know it's just, can you really fix your offense with just getting a big name receiver? But it feels like he's kind of the
I
answer here for them.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna find out soon. I mean, again, it's still a new team for Rodgers. It's only been what now? He's played 6 games with this team.
Yeah.
I mean, even look at Jordan Love last year. I mean, two very different people, obviously, but we didn't figure it out until week 9 or 10, arguably. You're
Yeah.
just not gonna click right away with a brand new team. So it'll be interesting to see. He's got a piece back. He's got Lazard there. Bills just cut MVS. Maybe they do a full rerun of the 2020
Get
NFC
all the
Championship
Packers together.
team.
Bring Cobb out of retirement.
Tunion's a free agent. You never know, man. There might be something brewing over there.
Yeah, GM Rogers. GM Rogers. Well, speaking of another trade that happened today, Amari Cooper got traded to the Bills. I was wondering,
Yeah.
do you think the Bills made this trade just based on the Jets trade? Do you think they
Uh,
still make that trade if Devonte Adams doesn't get traded to the Jets? Is that a
I
domino
think
effect?
so. What I think it was I think the Bills were also in the running for Devontae.
Oh, that's right.
So when that happened, yeah, I don't think they made it because to like try and match it. I think they made it because they were making a move regardless, and I think Devontae was their number one target.
Sure. I
So
got
that's what I
Cooper
think.
instead.
So I
Yeah.
think, but Amari Cooper obviously went to a very, very good school, played some good college ball there out in Alabama, and great. I think he's finally got a quarterback that can get him the ball.
You
He's
Bama
had some.
fans make me sick. Yeah, I
He's
don't
had
know. I
some.
don't know what the Browns are doing. It doesn't really make sense from a Browns
That's.
perspective to
I
me.
think things are just
But
going to start to fall. I mean, things have already kind of started falling apart there, and I think that's the first sign of them tossing in the tossing in the towel this season.
yeah, dude. The one guy they want to trade, no one would. I don't know if a CFL team would trade for Deshaun Watson. So yeah, they're
No,
they're
it's contractually, no team's going to take that on.
yeah, they're in a tough spot. But we
You
don't
just
have
got
to
to
talk
ride it
about.
out and hope he figures it out. Stefanski's been pretty set on him being the guy, so
Yeah.
it's just a matter of whether or not he can figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Stefanski though. I feel like it's like he's like forced to go with him because
Right.
like
I mean, I
of all
guess
the
like
money.
I
He's
mean
got to
it's the
stick
guy they
with
put
him.
up front though. And
Yeah.
one note on that is I can't remember or not, but I'm pretty sure Amari Cooper leads the league in drops this year.
Oh,
So fun stat for you there. Could be
oh,
part of the
Josh
problem in
Allen's not gonna like
Cleveland.
that. Yeah.
He's gonna have to figure that
Um,
out.
yeah, but let's pivot to our team's division. Obviously, we're both Packers fans. NFC
Yeah.
North. We're in last place in the NFC North, and we're 4-2. So I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
ask a question to you. How many teams from the NFC North will make the playoffs this year?
I don't think this will happen, but question for you, can all four make the playoffs?
Yes, right? Because there's 3 wild cards, right?
Yeah, I think
Four
so.
division winners, 3 wild cards. So in
Yeah,
theory, the whole division.
I don't think that'll happen, but I know the Bears are about to fall apart soon. They haven't beat a team this year that has more than one win. Fun
Ooh.
fact. Um, so they've gotten pretty lucky with their matchups so far, and I think it's only a matter of time before they run into the other three teams in the NFC North, which I think will make the playoffs. They still that's 6 games right there. They have to play against 3 playoff teams. So I think they're only going
That's
to
true.
win maybe 1 or 2 of those. None against
Yeah.
the Packers.
So you think you're not big on the Bears. You got them falling apart here.
Yeah. And I could see the Vikings falling apart, but I think it's going to be I think they've gotten out to it. If they can win this week, I think they'll be fine. But I think they've got themselves a good buffer to factor in like some late season Vikings woes that may push them out of the playoffs. I think they're set where they are.
Do you think
Um,
the Vikings could start off 5-0 and then end up missing the playoffs? Is that what you're
they've done it
saying?
before. They've done it before. I think if they lose this week, that conversation might pick up a little bit, but
Sure.
because they play Detroit this week. So that'll be a pretty telling game for them, I think.
Definitely. Definitely.
But yeah, I do think all three Vikings, Packers, and Lions will make the playoffs. Not the
Just
Bears.
not just not Caleb Williams and the Bears.
No,
That's
not this
that's
year.
yeah,
Probably not
unfortunate.
next year. But I'm sure their time will come. Will we be alive for it? I
You're
don't
like
know.
a Caleb Williams hater though. You think when their time comes it'll be with Caleb?
Too
Sorry.
early to tell.
Not to out you as a Caleb Williams hater,
No,
but
I don't mind him. I don't mind him. I liked him in college, but I'm not going to like him now.
uh,
And I do think
fair
that
enough.
he's got some room. Again, obviously, room for improvement. He's played 6 games. Of course, there's room for improvement. That's just the obvious thing for me to say, but we'll see. Not too worried about him just yet. I'll say that. I
Fair
still think
enough.
Bears go 0-2 against the Pack this year. Put me on the record with that one.
I'm gonna agree with that. One of them will be a close game. One of them one of them will win in a blowout. That's my
All right.
prediction.
I mean, I like that take. Yeah, I could see it. That was how it went last year. We blew them out week 1, and then it was kind of close week 18. So I could see
Yeah,
it.
the
We play
score the
them.
score looked a lot closer. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was like 17-9, kind of weird. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
but Love played well in that game. No, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think I picked the Bears to make the playoffs preseason, but even at 4-2 now, I'm kind of like in agreement with you. Like, what am I doing? Are they gonna? I don't know if they're gonna sustain it.
I think the Vikings may have screwed that up. I don't think anyone expected them to be as good as they have been.
Yeah, who would you rather have, Sam Darnold or Caleb Williams for 1 year?
For 1 year,
Yeah, just this year, I guess. It's pretty easy, I guess.
for one
Uh,
year, I'm taking Darnold.
Yeah,
I'm taking the experience over the if I have 1 year to get it done, I think I'm taking Darnold.
sure. That's a smart pick. All right, well, enough on the NFC North. Let's talk about Jerry Jones' favorite teams, the Cowboys. Are they dead? Is their season
Yeah,
over? They're yeah.
I think so. They're
How
missing too
about
many
them?
people. Missing. How about them? They're missing too many pieces on defense. Offense hasn't looked good at all. Um, I don't even know who their starting running back is.
Rico
Um,
Dowdle, the goat.
um,
Rico.
yeah. I think they might be dead. I still can't believe they gave Dak that contract either. I thought they were really going to hold firm on maybe not paying him.
You don't think
Because
he's
I
worth it?
do you?
Maybe a little bit of an overpay, but I guess I don't know. What do you do in that situation? Do you just like you're like,
If I was the Cowboys, I think I would have maybe tried to sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal.
yeah,
Say,
I
listen,
don't
this is a 1 or 2 year deal, and maybe draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft.
Ooh.
Couple of guys in there that I think could be pretty decent.
Cowboys going after Shadur? Maybe. He's got the Apple Watch holding it up. There you go. Do the
No,
Shadur.
yeah, no, I think there's a couple. I think like last year, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in last year's draft class. I
Yeah.
think this one's going to be pretty good too.
Yeah.
But they're set for Dak now for 5 years, right?
A long time.
Yeah, not a
A long,
contract you can easily get out of at 60
yeah.
million a
He'll be
year.
there a lot longer than Mike McCarthy. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah, so if you think the Cowboys are dead, who you got winning that division? You got Commanders?
rookie of the year,
Well,
Jaden Daniels.
that's who's winning it. I like it.
I big Jaden Daniels fan. I think he again. I know it was pretty consensus that Caleb went and won, but I thought that Jaden, could have went number one too. I think he's showing that as well, which is good, and I think both teams are happy with their picks. But I do have the Commanders winning that division.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I was a little sussed out pre-draft by Jaden Daniels' like elbow. I don't you
Oh,
saw
that
that
fixer.
yeah, it looked like his bone was popping out. But
Yeah,
he's really silenced the doubters here.
yeah. No, he had a lot of them, and I think that he's played very well so far, and I think he's going to take a few more steps forward as the year goes on.
Yeah. Speaking of that division, did you happen to see the Nick Sirianni like screaming at his own fans
Yeah,
on
in a true
Sunday?
Sirianni fashion, man. He's letting them know, even if they're on his side, he's
Yeah, is
gonna
that
let.
is that your dad? You guys got the same last name?
I'm sure long lost cousin somewhere down the family tree, maybe.
Okay, I didn't know you were Italian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You are?
yeah.
I guess Sirianni, that's an Italian last name.
Both of us have the same last name.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know
I
if there's a connection there.
no connection that I'm aware of, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he might be fired soon too.
Yeah, he's weird, dude. He was like pissed at Philly fans for booing, but it's like that's been Philly
Yeah,
forever. That's
yeah,
always what they do.
yeah, yeah. No, if you can't handle it, you shouldn't be coaching there, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if him or McCarthy end up staying longer.
I think
Um,
McCarthy.
okay. I don't know. I
There's
feel
my pick
like
on that.
I feel like it would be such a Jerry Jones move to just scapegoat the season on Mike McCarthy when it was like his fault for doing nothing in free
I think he's
agency.
had plenty of opportunities to call out McCarthy. He hasn't, and he's been very well spoken about how much he's sticking with him and liking him. So, but I think,
I think he's
um,
sticking with Mike. Okay.
mhm.
But
So yeah, I think Coach Sirianni might be on his way out. Maybe a mid-season. We'll see how they do in the next couple of weeks here
yeah, that's interesting. Coach
because they barely
Sirianni,
beat the Browns.
yeah, yeah. And he's talking shit to the fans after barely beating the Browns. It's
Yeah,
like
not a
you
good
don't
look.
have too much shit to talk here.
No.
Um, but yeah, enough on your long lost cousin Nick Sirianni. Can I get a Super Bowl pick from you?
You want the two teams I think are going to be in, or you just want the Super Bowl winner?
Whatever you got for me. Both probably.
Packers, Ravens, and you know who I'm picking.
Oh dear. You got some wood to knock on in that apartment? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. So you got Packers over the Ravens.
I do.
I like it. I definitely think we got the talent. I'm feeling a little nervous. I feel like I've had like 5 different Packer fans come on this podcast and tell me the Packers are winning it all.
Yeah,
Just
that's not shocking. We're
I'm
a
we're
optimistic group usually.
we're a
Um,
confident fan base.
yeah, and we've got good reason to be. We're looking pretty good. We're starting to click. First week with Jordan back, it looked a little slow. You could tell
Yep.
shaking off the rust.
Yeah.
Then we played the Rams. Things kind of a little shaky maybe in that first half. And then second half too. But you could
The
see the flashes, and I think last week we finally started to put things together. And I think that's huge going into a game against a team like Houston.
Yeah. That pick six against the Rams was kind of hilarious. He was, sideways, chucked it out of his
Yeah,
own end zone,
he had
two
a Will
yard
Levis moment, that's for
pick
sure.
six.
Had a Will Levis moment.
I'm wondering, how do you feel about this statement? Because I feel like it's been sort of evident these past couple weeks. I feel like everyone obviously makes like the Love, Favre, Rodgers comparisons, but just based on this season, I feel like Love is almost more on the Favre side than the Rodgers side.
Yeah,
What
I
what do
think
you think
last
about
year we
that?
saw a lot of the Rodgers side, and this year we're seeing a lot of the Favre side.
Yeah.
And I think he's got to find that perfect balance between the two. He's
Yeah.
he's got both sides down, but I think if once he locks in that perfect balance, he's already an elite quarterback, but I think
He's a
he's gonna go.
gunslinger.
Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence in his arm. We'll say that.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. He before the Minnesota game, what he wears a Brett Favre jersey to the
Goes out, he
game.
chucks 3 picks and 4 touchdowns in true Favre fashion.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I can't argue with the Packers Super Bowl pick there. I can just make you knock on wood. But last thing on the NFL here, we got maybe the grossest Thursday night football game I've seen in a while. We got Broncos at Saints. Broncos are 2.5 point favorites on the road. Who you got winning this one? Who you got covering? Or unless you got a money line pick for me.
I got Broncos covering,
Okay.
and I think I got Bo Nix going for 3 touchdowns.
Oh, passing or
Yeah,
rushing or one of each?
passing.
Three
I think.
passing.
Yep, I think Sean Payton's going to dial up a big game against his former team, and Bo Nix is going to be there to lead it. Three
Ooh, okay.
touchdowns.
The
Or
Bo Nix breakout game, huh? You got
I'm
him
just
winning
saying.
big then? You got him winning big? You don't have any faith in Spencer Rattler?
I like Spencer Rattler a lot. I do, but they're going to be without Olave. I think you just got a concussion Sunday. It's very hard to turn around and play Thursday,
True.
and they might be without Rashid Shaheed as well. I saw,
Dang.
so he's going to be
Top two
without his top two
receivers.
targets. I think Rattler is going to be a good quarterback in the league, though. But I against the Broncos, well, Pat Surtain's out, but regardless,
Yeah.
without their top two receivers, he's going to probably have a not so great game, but he could have a good game. I think he's
Okay.
capable of it. But looking at
Yeah.
it, I think Bo Nix is going to have his first big game. We'll say.
Sure. Okay. But that was interesting what you said there. You think Rattler will have a good career. So you see Rattler becoming like an everyday starter in his career at some point?
I do, and I think it
Okay.
could be with the Saints, even after a few years behind Derek Carr.
Yeah. Huh. I like it. Interesting. I
Hmm
don't know. I just hadn't thought about it like that, really.
Yeah, I
But
think he's very talented. I do. I think he showed some flashes in that first game, and he showed some, hey, this is my first NFL game moments too, which
right,
makes
right.
sense.
Yeah.
So I think the future's bright for him. I think the future's bright for all of these quarterbacks drafted
hmm
this year.
Sure.
Just maybe not
Yeah.
for one in particular.
Just not Caleb Williams.
I didn't say his name.
You're not you're not a Caleb Williams hater. All right, well, let's talk some college football. I'll start off with your team. You are an Alabama Crimson Tide fan for
Hmm
some reason. Um,
Roll
so
Tide.
roll Tide, he said. So I'll ask you as a Bama fan, do you think is Bama in trouble here? They obviously lost to Vanderbilt, and then this past week They only beat South Carolina by 2 points. So
Yeah, I
they're
think they're still
looking a little
feeling a bit of
shaky.
the. I think they're still feeling a bit of the hangover effects from beating Georgia, for sure.
2 week hangover.
I think that's what I'm going to call it right now. A third week of this, and I might say, all right, maybe something's going on. But obviously, we've got the talent. We've got um, the best quarterback in college football right now.
Arguable. Cam Ward. I didn't know you guys had Cam Ward.
Eh, Cam Ward's been getting kind of lucky past 2 weeks,
No,
but
Milrow is very good. I can't deny.
and hands down, the best wide receiver in college football right now.
Travis Hunter.
Okay, fair. Second best wide receiver in college football. I
No,
love Travis Hunter.
I think Hunter's a better player, but I think receiver wise, Ryan Williams is probably better.
I think Ryan Williams is one of the. It's early, obviously, but he's one of the best college football receivers I've ever watched.
But
From
so
what
you
I've
got you
seen so far,
yeah.
he's
No,
insane. For being
absolutely.
17 years old, gross what he's
That
doing.
that game-winning touchdown he had against Georgia, he did the hezzy spin move. Can you
He did
explain that to
everything.
me? I
I
still
can't.
don't
I
I
can't.
still don't understand how
My
what he
jaw
did there.
jaw was on the floor watching that.
He
Insane.
he mossed the dude, did a spin, then did another spin and like paused mid
Hmm.
spin. He's absurd. But so you're
He's on
not
a
worried
different
about
level.
Bama. You don't
No,
think they're in trouble at all.
no,
You guys are still a shoe in for the playoffs.
easily. And
Okay.
maybe
A title?
maybe.
Perhaps. Okay. Well, I'll ask about another team in the SEC, the number one ranked team in the nation who just steamrolled a ranked Oklahoma team. I feel
Yeah,
like I know your answer to this one, but can anybody stop Texas?
you do know my answer, but um I think I think they're going to be a tough team to stop. Let's put it that way. Um Again, another high-powered offense, great quarterback, some great receivers. Um Yeah, they look really good. It's I haven't watched them much, so I can't speak too much. But you go out and beat a ranked Oklahoma team, 34-3, probably doing something right. And they've got Georgia coming up, I believe, in 2 weeks. So
Ooh.
I think that game will tell us a lot about Texas for sure.
Okay. Well, do you think anyone can stop them? I just assumed you were going to be like, yeah, Bama.
Yeah, no, Bama for sure can. I think in a shootout, I like Milrow. I like Ryan Williams, like Jam Miller. I like Jeremy Bernard. I like all of the boys. And I think that we've also got a pretty good defense as well. That once they kind of, they've looked a little shaky. Ever since that second half in the Georgia game, I don't know what's going on, but I think we've got a good leader in Malachi Moore. And I think, again, it's Bama. So they're
Yeah.
always going to be at the top. They've got the talent. It's just a matter of whether or not they can do it.
Yeah.
And I
Do
think they
Bama
can
and
this year.
do Bama and Texas have a game scheduled this year? I don't even know.
Mm-mm.
They don't?
No.
Oh, that's lucky for Bama. Well, and
Yeah,
for
my guess
Texas,
would
I
be
guess.
SEC championship would be us playing them.
Okay. Yeah,
So that'll be a good one.
yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to talk a little Heisman with you. Obviously, the front runner is Ashton Genty. Is Genty a lock for Heisman at this point?
If he keeps playing at the rate he is, yes.
If he keeps
I don't,
running for 10 yards a carry.
yeah, and 3 touchdowns a game. I think it's going to be very hard not to give it to him. And I think that shouldn't take away from the other guys who are in the conversation who also are having crazy years. Like, obviously, Milrow, Travis Hunter. Travis
Yeah.
Hunter is one of the most insane football players I've ever watched
Yeah.
so far. Playing both sides of the ball at the highest level at each position, that's unheard of in
For sure.
today's day and age, for sure.
Yeah, him and
And
Otani. That's it.
pretty much. And then, yeah, Cam Ward too. I'll throw him in the Heisman conversation for sure. But I think there's a lot of guys that could be in that conversation too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at the rate he's playing and producing, it's going to be hard to not give it to Genty.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens the rest of the way. And feel free to answer Alabama for this next question. But I wanted to ask for a championship pick. Who's your NCAA champion in the first ever 12-team playoff?
Roll Tide
What
all
what
the
is
way.
that? What is that? Hang
Roll
loose?
Tide. Roll
That's what
Tide.
it is that like a thing?
I think. I'm still new to the fan base, but you know.
If you're on the Spotify, there's like this hang loose gesture he keeps doing, like roll tide. I didn't know they had like a that sign language for roll tide,
I've
I
always
guess.
done that, so it is
Okay.
for me.
All right. Wait, so you got Bama winning it
I
all.
do. Yeah, and again, that's not just me being bandwagon homer, whatever you want to call it, pick. That's
You
just
know they
I
lost to Vanderbilt, right?
it doesn't concern me. They also beat
The
Georgia, so
the Vandy loss doesn't concern you at all. Just a freak
it
accident.
it truly was. I mean, what? That's like the third time that the number one team has lost to Vanderbilt, or a ranked team has lost to an unranked Vanderbilt, or whatever the crazy stat was, where it was like it truly was like a once in a lifetime opportunity and
They
thing
hadn't
to
beaten Bama
witness.
in 40 years. It's
Yeah, like
crazy.
it was one of those things that's bound to happen at some point, I guess, and it just had to happen that week. So,
Yeah. It's like the one seed beating the 16 in college
right,
basketball.
it
Like
was
someone
bound to
someone had to
happen.
do it. Yeah.
But unlike that, we can recover from this, and I think we will.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I only got two more questions for you here. And thanks again for pulling up to the podcast. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Let's
awesome
finish it
being
out
on here
with
my first time.
yeah, dude. I'm having a good time. But let's do some baseball. Talking some MLB. Who's your World Series pick? That's all I got for you for
Hmm.
baseball.
World Series pick.
Yeah. You got
We're gonna
four
go
teams to
with
choose from.
the Guardians.
Oh, I like it. Oh, fuck.
Hmm.
I'm looking over at the game. They're down 3-0 right now.
Yeah, I've been getting some
That's
notifications.
tough.
I
So
know,
you're
I know.
so even with them down 0-1 in the series and down 0-3 in this game, you're taking the Guardians.
I am. I think going back to
Okay.
Cleveland, they're gonna win at least two, and then it's a brand new series from there.
Sure. Dang, I like it. I hate the
I've got a,
Yankees, so
I've got a buddy out and buddy from Cleveland, and he's a big Guardians fan, I know, and he was cheering for the Brewers, so I've gotta lock in and help him out, support the team.
yeah. Who are the Guardians could be playing then?
Mets.
The Mets, and
The
then how
streak
many?
lives on of the teams that beat the Brewers in the playoffs at least make the World Series.
Damn. And then the Guardians win in how many games?
Guardians in six.
All right. I like it. I would love to see anyone but the Yankees win. I don't
Yeah,
know. How do you, so as a Brewers fan, I've been struggling with this. Do we root for the Mets or do we root against them? How does this work after they beat us? I obviously am pissed that they beat us.
we
So
root
who
for them to make it to the World Series and then cheer against them in the World Series.
okay. So you get you you get past the Brewers were a bad team. It's like no, they just lost to a really good team.
Yeah,
But
they lost to the
then
team that made the World Series, and then we want to see them crushed and defeated.
but then we break their hearts. I love it. I love
Exactly.
it.
Build them up and break them down.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, well, Dom or Don as I like to call you. I only got one more question for you. Thanks again for pulling up. So Goosebump Sports is something I'm trying to bring to fruition. I think sports are about those moments that, give you chills, give you goosebumps, whether it's a buzzer beater or walk-off home run, whatever it may be. So
Hmm.
as a sports fan or maybe as an athlete, whether it was a game you were at or a game you watched on TV or maybe a shot you made yourself or
Yeah, all
something.
right.
What's your
Nothing. I never made a shot of high
what's
importance in any
your what's your
basketball
favorite
game.
what? I remember rooting for you that one game you went off. But
5 points in 50 seconds.
that was insane, dude. 5 points in 1 minute of action.
They
But
were calling me. They were squinting to see if that was Reggie Miller out there, but just little old me.
yeah, Reggie Miller. But what's your all-time favorite Goosebump moment? Your all-time favorite sports moment?
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
You know what? In the spirit of last night's Hail Mary, I'm gonna go with the Rodgers to Rodgers Hail Mary
Hell
against
yeah.
Detroit. In the spirit of last night's Hail Mary, obviously I have so many moments that have been great, but that one, you can't beat it.
Yeah, the Hail Mary GOAT, dude.
Oh yeah. I
Four.
think he's got maybe one more in him one day.
He's got another one. Yeah, that'll be to Tay Adams for the Jets here. Now, 4 Hail Marys in a career is just absurd. I don't think anyone has more than that. But yeah, what an unforgettable.
I don't think anyone has. I
Yeah,
don't even know if anyone else has to.
I think I heard Joe Buck say like, "Oh, that's twice as many as anyone." And I was like, "Who the hell else has 2 Hail Marys?" I don't know who it was. He didn't mention
Anyone.
Doug Flutie or someone. I don't know, but yeah. That was an unforgettable game. What, we came back from down 20-3, beat the Lions on that insane
Crazy
play.
comeback too. Such a fun game, I remember.
Yeah. Well, let's hope the Packers have a similar result in our game against the Lions this year. But yeah, man, thanks so much for pulling up to the podcast. I really appreciate it, and you got to come back on soon.
Yeah, we'd love to be back.
Hell yeah, man. All right, well, I'll see you later.
All right, we'll talk soon, Matt.
All right. Peace out, man. Thanks again, Dom, for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it, bro. Love talking ball with you, talking Davante Adams, Packers, Jets, all that good stuff. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Come back on again sometime soon. All right, let's get to our Goosebump moments of the week, which is everybody's favorite moment of the week. Starting it off at number 10, we've got Aaron Rodgers with his record-setting 4th career Hail Mary.
Here we go. Up into the air, into the end zone, and incomplete. Lazard had a shot. And now the other official saying touchdown. You can see he doesn't totally get up in the air with all the bodies there, but he's got it. That's a touchdown.
Number
right
9,
there.
Illinois sacks Purdue on their 2-point conversion attempt to win a 50-49 thriller in overtime.
In trouble! Goes down! It's over! Illinois wins!
Number 8, Jace Brown with a 50-yard game-winning touchdown for Kansas State.
He's in the backfield. The play fake. One-on-one down the sidelines. Caught! Flag! Touchdown! Brown! Doing it for the Cats!
Number 7, Matt Sykes makes a juggling catch to give Rice the win with 4 seconds left.
Low snap. Warner looking for the end zone. Touchdown!
Number 6, Giancarlo Stanton's 8th-inning home run propels the Yankees to a Game 3 win over the Royals.
Hard to center and then stole a base. Swung on a high fly to left. Back goes Melendez on the track. He's at the wall, and she's got a Stantonian home run. He drove a high fly deep left into the Yankee bullpen to give the Yankees a 3-2
Number 5, Francisco Lindor with a Game 4 grand slam as the Mets advance to the NLCS.
Swinging a drive towards the gap in right center. It's pretty deep. It's back near the wall. It's gone. It's gone. Francisco Lindor. He may have just outdone himself. He has hit a grand slam into the Phillies bullpen in right center field. The Mets are leading by a score of 4-1.
Number 4, Lane Thomas with a grand slam as the Guardians win a do-or-die Game 5.
Loves the first pitch. Thomas swings, hits a high fly ball deep into left field. It is up. It is going to be a grand slam. Lane Thomas! What a moment! What a swing! It's 5-1 Cleveland!
Number 3, Kyron Lacey catches the walk-off touchdown as Ole Miss loses to LSU in OT.
Pump fake, Nussmeier goes back shoulder, touchdown! Kyron Lacey, and LSU wins!
Number 2, Jamal Haynes wins it for Georgia Tech with a 68-yard rushing touchdown. Wow.
And they're going to run it, and it's explosion right down the middle of the field. You just said it, Max Brown. Can you believe that? The final 40 seconds of the first half, they did it on the ground. And here a run goes for 68 yards and a touchdown.
Number 1 moment of the week, Courtney Williams with a 4-point play that forces overtime in game 1.
Rebound Smith.
Holy
Another chance
crap.
for Minnesota. Williams connects. Plus the foul. A chance for 4 and a play that may live forever in WNBA history. Tied at 83.
In a game where the New York Liberty have dominated on the offensive glass, it's the old board out to the 3, plus the foul, Courtney Williams.
Williams, an 81% free throw shooter, hits the free throw, and Minnesota has its first lead of the game.
Incredible play from Courtney Williams. She makes the 4-point play, makes the 3, makes the free throw, and then the Liberty ended up making another free throw, tying the game. Went to overtime, but the Minnesota Lynx ended up going on to win that game in overtime. So you know now why I changed my pick to the Minnesota Lynx, because that 4-point play from Courtney Williams was insane. Courtney Williams for WNBA Finals MVP. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. What a moment from Courtney there. Let's finish the show out with our TNF Pick Thursday Night Football. This week we got Broncos at Saints. Broncos are favored by 2.5. Gross. This game is so gross that last week the Thursday Night Football graphic promoting this week's game was a picture of Cameron Jordan for the Saints and Sean Payton for the Broncos. They literally couldn't think of a player with enough, notoriety to put on that graphic. They chose to put the head coach there. Reminds us of last year Thursday Night Football did this. It was a graphic of TJ Watt and Bill Belichick, but seriously, graphics department, we couldn't think of anyone. You couldn't have thrown Bo Nix on there instead of Sean Payton. Throw up Pat Surtain there or Cortland Sutton. No, they had nothing, so they went with Sean Payton there. But yeah, like I said, this game is gross. Derek Carr did not practice Tuesday, so it's pretty unlikely that he will play. So it's likely Spencer Rattler versus Bo Nix this week, the rookie rivalry. Chris Olave and Pat Surtain are also banged up. We're not really sure if either of these guys will be able to go. I'm doing the show on Tuesday, 2 days before the Thursday night game, so I don't technically know the outcomes of these injuries. But regardless, I'm making my pick. I'm taking Broncos minus 2.5. That's right. I'm taking the Broncos to win and to cover in a game so gross, it'll make you ask, do we even need Thursday night football games?